And welcome back to another episode of Next Level Real Talk Podcast with Sheldon David. And we have our special guest, Todd Tait from Louisiana. And I forget where it was, brother. So you can say where you're from if you want.
Well, it's New Orleans, and no one can
Or
pronounce it but those that live
outside
there.
New
So go
Orleans.
ahead, Todd. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you okay? All right. I'm from St. Bernard Parish, around New Orleans, but I live in Mobile, Alabama right now.
Oh, you do?
That's where
Okay.
I'm at now. Yeah.
Okay. Mobile. Okay. Um,
Yes.
so, yeah,
Welcome.
I met
Good to have
Stephen
you.
in, I was in Daphne, Alabama, I think. Is that right?
Daphne. Yeah, across the bay.
Across the bay, right? There you go.
Yeah, you went through the tunnel.
You know what? I stayed on the Daphne side the whole time. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So yes,
Cool,
I don't
chill.
remember going through a tunnel. I'll be honest with you. So yeah, so Stephen is if he ever listens to this, he's gonna know we shouted him out a little bit because he's the one who sort of put us in touch, right?
Yes, he did.
uh,
Shout out to Steve. Thank you, bro.
yeah, right. What a beautiful soul. Um, uh,
Well,
yeah. So anyway, he put us in touch. He said that we had stories, and this is our podcast is we call it Next Level Real Talk. It's about just people keeping it real and telling their stories and talking about some of the stuff they've been through and how we get to a place of peace or whatever. So wanted to just sort of throw it open to you, brother, and let you just tell us a little bit about what your journey has been like.
Yeah, tell us about you, and then
Yeah.
tell us where your journey came from.
Yeah.
Mhm.
well, first and foremost, man, thank y'all for having me. Thank you for the opportunity to share it.
Oh, definitely.
And
Glad you're here.
yeah, my
Yeah.
name's Todd Tait. I'm 44 years old, and I'm from Mobile, Alabama. Now, my story, it dates back from 1982, from when I was born, man. From the Chalmette, I got a sister, and I got a half brother, and I got a mom. My dad passed when I was 5, and
Mm.
you know, when my dad passed, life kind of got a little different, and my mom kind of took that a little hard.
Yeah.
A lot of little stuff going on, you know what I'm saying? That normal little drinking and whatnot. So I mean, life was a little different. She did real good, man. She hustled. She always provided. Of course, when your dad dies, then you get like a social security check. So I always knew that helped. My mama always grind. A little shortly after my dad dies, my grandpa dies, and kind of hit the house even worse, man, and kind of sent it a little further down. You know what I'm saying? But by
Yep.
the grace of God, we was able to kind of get past that point. My mama got to a level. She got with a guy. Kind of life was moving. By this time, I'm probably like 12, 13, 14. I'm starting high school, and
Mm.
I'm doing my thing. I love to play basketball. I love to fish now. Didn't really fish back then, but was a basketball player in high school, and
Mm.
that's probably when that stuff starts for me, man. So when I start high school, I start hanging around, start experimenting, and of course, off to the races, man. Off to the races. Dude, I don't really know what else to say. I mean, I tell
Some of
people
us
now.
like
I
to
said,
excel, right? It's
know,
like
right? Yeah. I mean, it's like.
go big or
Sheldon,
go
Like I,
home,
Sheldon
I,
got
right?
a
I could I
master's.
could have
So.
did, yeah, why? But there's a reason behind everything, and
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, amen.
so I mean, you start lying, you start cheating, you start doing things, and you start reaping the consequences. I start getting in trouble, I start going to jail. Of course, fighting with my mom. I'm getting kicked in and out, back and forth, man, and that goes on for a few years. I'm pretty heavy into it. Don't want to listen, ain't paying attention. I'm failing at school. I'm in my senior year by now. I done quit basketball, man, and I gave that up to go do drugs and not listen and be a knucklehead. And, so
Wow.
I'm living this life, man. And, so my mom had like the last straw eventually with me. And,
Mm.
I,
She's
I
trying to
was
keep you
sleeping on.
straight the whole time.
She was exactly right.
She's
So, but
trying.
back then when you're doing bad, of course you're throwing
Yeah.
blame on her and everybody
Yeah.
but yourself. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
so I'm sleeping on people's couches by then, by like 17. I was at the beginning of my senior year. I started sleeping on around people's houses, and they weren't really caring if I was going to school. So school kind of decelled for me, man. And I even went. I even went. That's how cutthroat. I even went and took my social security check, started getting it mailed to myself, so I could put the money in my pocket and go blow it on bull crap.
Oh,
You know what I'm
wow.
saying? Right? I mean, how how
Wow.
how
You're a
cut
hustler,
how
dude.
how
You're
cutthroat was that, right? I
yeah.
mean, so you know what I'm saying? I take it from my mom, and so that and nothing showed from it, but so through all of the midst of it, it didn't go good. Even my friends' couches, man, I stole from them, lied from them. I couldn't keep a bud. I couldn't keep a dollar. You know,
Yep.
Wow.
I really wasn't working at that point, and then my last friend was done with me, man, and
Mm.
and Shell met close to. That's why I say New Orleans because 10 minutes away you're in the French Quarters. And so I'm from
Wow.
the parish, and you're right there. So I mean, we
Yep.
started that life at a young age.
Yep.
Mm.
But you
Wow.
go to the French Quarters, and there's some religious people handing out cards. You know, the people handing out
Mm-hmm.
cards that's like
Yep.
repent. Going to hell, repent, say I remember I had one in my pocket. I don't know why I kept one. I mean, I hung out in the French Quarters a lot, and I must have put one in my pocket one night. Man, it's in my wallet, and I'll never forget. I'm standing there in the corner. I'm like, reach in my pocket, and I grabbed this card out, and it says, "Call me if you need help." I'm like, let me call this number. So I call this number, and this lady answers, and she goes, such and such. And I was like, yeah, look, I don't know what's going on. I said, I ain't got nowhere to go. She goes, okay, stay there. I'm going to come, I'm going to send somebody to pick you up. I said, okay,
Mm.
cool. So by this point, if you know anything about New Orleans, like I'm on St. Charles, and she wanted me to meet her at
Okay.
Rock and Bowl. And that's like an awesome place. People go bowling all the time. But so I caught a bus, meet this, I go to Rock and Bowl. I'm sitting there. By this time, it's like 9 p.m. And sitting there, and this white van pulls up, and two men jump out and so you Todd? I'm like, yes, sir. And again, I'm 18. I'm 18, making 19 at that time, maybe. But dude, so I get in the van, they put me in, and we're driving off, and then we pull into like this neighborhood. And didn't pay nothing attention, but the gate opened up, and then we pull in, and gate closes, and I'm like, all right, checking it out. By this time, I just got a school bag to my name. You know what I mean? And I get out. And I walk inside, and they must have just had some type of church service, and I didn't grow up. I didn't grow up in the church, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, my mom
Mm-hmm.
had some things happen to her that prevented us from doing so. Uh, so
Mm.
anywho, um, one second.
Good.
I was totally train of thought when I went there. So we pull in this place, man, and they just finished some church service, and you know, they had some food, and they fed me some food, and a lady asked me a few questions. I'm like, look, I was like, I got kicked out of school by then. By then, all the couches I slept on, I didn't skip for my last time. Then I had my jacket with my name on it. I go across with a school bag across my face, and it says Tait on it. He kicks me out the last time. You know what I mean? So I was done with school,
Mm.
and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I got nowhere to go, and she's like, all right, you can stay here. And I'm like, okay. So I don't really know where I'm at, man. So I eat up. I go to bed that night. When I wake up that morning, it's kind of daylight. And I notice I'm like in this little area with like two houses. I'm like in this little compound, if you will, with two houses. So I wake up and they eat breakfast. And then I notice there's a bunch of other men there too. I'm like, okay, there's a bunch of other homeless dudes here. So all right. So she gives me a job to do. She's like, look, everybody has a job to do here. She made me wash dishes. Like my first day, I'll never forget me washing
Wow.
dishes because I suck at washing dishes. Still do. She don't let me wash dishes. Dude, so anywho, but like, and I'm
We
washing
all have our
dishes and I'm
talents and gifts, right?
right, right, right. I'm like, dang, why you rewashing them? I just wash them. So anywho, uh, so I know she had a little job and kind of checking it out. There's some guys outside like rolling paint and doing things and like. So like, I'm like, all right, this might not be so bad. And then like she puts everybody in this van and she brings you to the social security office and like she gets everybody to fill out the food stamp cards and like things like that. And she tells you to fill it out. When they give you your card, you give them to this lady and she takes care of people, okay? Okay, so
Mm.
yeah, and I should have known because when I got there, she
Mm.
would look. I would never when I tell people this. She brought me in this room, dude, and it was Nutty Buddy bars all the way up to the ceiling, like fudge rounds and like snack cakes. It was like food out the yin yang, and I kept looking around while I was trying to talk to her, going, "What's all this food doing in here?" So she brings these people, right? And she brings me to the Social Security office, and I'm young. I don't know nothing about this. She's like, y'all go upstairs, you fill out. I remember filling out my name and my address. I wrote homeless on there, and you give it back to them. And about 2, 3 weeks later, she brings you back and you pick up your stuff. By this time, we don't caught on and this place ain't right. So me and this dude, Fat Phil, we breaking out of here. Me and this dude break out of here. Me and this guy like we're
Really?
out of here. Yeah, because it wasn't right. We had caught on what was going on. She was using all these people's social security and food stamp cards, and she was taking all that stuff. And like it was, if you would, it was like some weird thing going on. So look, me and this dude
Wow.
break out of there. And literally
Wow.
at night we have to break out of there because they shut the gate on you. So literally we do like the rug over the fence and the hop over
Oh,
and the hop
wow.
over and the hop
Yeah.
over thing and he's a
Wow.
big guy, and I'll never forget we trying to take off, and it's like 9, 10 p.m. at night. You feel like you're jumping. You feel like you're trying to escape from a prison,
Prison break,
and
Yeah.
full on.
Wow.
yeah, like prison break, man. I'm like running through the city, me and Phil, and we're just like, well, we don't know what we're doing, right? So like, he's homeless, so he knows the ropes on the street. So I bum with this dude for a couple weeks, and he's done showed me like so in Louisiana, you got like the Mission of Hope, and you got the Salvation Army, and you had like the Oz Center. And there was all these different places. If you got there by like 6 p.m., you can sign in and you can have food and you can get fed and you can have a night, to have a bed for the night. So, he kind of showed me them things and we were kind of doing them for a couple weeks. And then he had a falling out, man. I learned that he had some problem I didn't even know about. Again, I'm young. I'm learning all this stuff on the street. So I kind of split from him so that I go on my own and I'm on the streets. I was doing that for about a couple months, and then I met another homeless guy. Because when you're out there, I mean, if you're out there and if you want to come up, you got to come up. And I thank God because I was young doing it. So like I kind of tag team back up with another homeless person, and we started renting a room for the week. So we got out the shelters, and then we renting rooms for the week, and so that's all going. That's
How are
going
you
great,
making the money
man.
to rent the room?
Yeah. How
Well,
you?
we was doing temp jobs. So like back then,
Oh, okay.
you can go to the temp agencies, and as soon as like in New Orleans
Yep. Yep.
on Magazine Street and Camp Street, as soon as you pulled up, I mean, you sitting outside and a truck will pull up.
Yep.
How many you pick up 5 people and they pay you 50 or 60 a day? And back then we can get a room for 20, 30 a night. I knew, look, underneath the Ladale, they had cots. The dude rented cots for $10 a piece. If I couldn't get a room, he'd give me a $10 cot. And you'd have to go downstairs, and there'd be a room with like 100 cots, be like other hundred other homeless people,
Yeah.
and you'd have to sleep with your wallet underneath your pillow and stuff like that. Man, it was wild.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah, but I mean,
Lee.
but you wasn't on the street though. I mean,
Dude.
there was some
Yeah.
times where,
Yeah.
yeah, there was some
Better than.
times. Yeah, it
Yep.
was. I spent a few in the nights. I've spent a few nights, of course. Of course, when I went on the streets, I was too busy being homeless. I couldn't be bad no more, which was weird. I wasn't. I mean, I drank a
Oh.
little bit with the fellas, but like I had no money, so I couldn't go buy a bunch of pills and a bunch of pot and a bunch of
Right.
this and a bunch of dope. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
I couldn't do that. So
You're
like
trying
during
to get
that time,
food.
Oh.
I couldn't. Well, look, but what I do, you know what I did? I went to the Social Security office and I snatched me snatching my stuff again. I
Yeah.
s- I snatched my food stamp card from that lady. So
Yeah.
I broke out and I got
Oh.
my food stamp
I
card,
was
and
gonna
that's what
say
saved
she's
my
still
butt.
getting your money,
Yes.
but she wasn't. You
No, she
got it.
never got the card. I didn't say that part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wound up getting there, and
You
I wound up
good?
keeping that card on me, man. And that card saved my butt. You
Oh.
know what
Okay.
I learned with that card? You can go into bar rooms and guys would be like, "Oh, they give you 60 for the card." You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
there
Yeah.
was ways that you had to do to get by, and you had to get food, but it
Oh.
helped a lot. But yeah, um, yeah, it's wild, man. Like I
Yeah.
said, but like I was only able to like I remember 1 or 2 times that I might have got my hands on something, and when I did, I woke up and I tell my buddies the story. I said, because every time I passed the New Orleans Crescent City Bridge, you could see Robert E. Lee Circle right there, and that's where I
Mhm.
used to hang out. And I'll never forget one morning I woke up,
Oh my
and
gosh.
when I woke up, my eyes opened up, and I looked around, and my arms were I was sunburned, like I don't passed out, woke up at like 11 a.m. right. And I look around, I'm like, what? I was like, what is this? And my shirt says Bourbon Street. And I done got loaded in the quarters and I done stole some tourist clothes, right?
You're like, how'd I get this shirt on?
I don't got nothing on, dude. I ain't got my wallet, nothing, and I'm a bum on the streets. I got a hold of something. Some lady gave me something. Anywho, and I'm like, what's going on? I lost my wallet, and like during that time, I would drop a call to my mom every now and then. Even
Yeah.
though I was in bad terms, I go to a
Okay.
payphone,
Yeah.
drop a few quarters in. I knew my 279-7576.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was etched in me. I called my mom. I said, hey, I hate to let you know I'm doing okay, and she's like, hey, I got your wallet in the mail. And I'm like, oh. Oh, like,
Wow.
oh, okay. But
Yeah, I
there was
wondered
very
where
little
that went.
times. Yeah, but there was very little times because if I'd have been able to been bad, I wouldn't have been able to make it. 'Cause like I said, I
Yeah.
had to get up and go hustle. If we wanted to be homeless, you can stay like that, or you can go make some money and you can try to get a room. You know what I mean? So
So in a way,
that's
it
what.
cleaned you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. So it did. It helped me, and that went on for probably almost about a year, for about a year till the end of that, to my last day on Gentilly Boulevard. That me and my buddy, when we would get a room, we'd flip a coin. Like we would get a room with one bed, and we'd flip a coin. Who got heads get a bed, and then we get a cot. The other could lay in a cot. And the last night I was there, I woke up and like I said, everywhere I was at, I was used to taking my wallet, my belongings, and tucking them underneath my pocket or under my head.
Yep.
I woke up with him trying to take something from underneath me, and when I woke up, he drank heavy, and he drank 40 ounces. They got 40s back in Louisiana,
Yep.
Yep.
big 40s,
Back
you
in the
know what
day.
I'm
Yep.
saying?
40s.
And
Yep.
I grabbed the bottle and I racked the dude over his head, and he goes
Wow.
down. I kind of go ballistic. I mean, there's a lot going on,
Yeah.
inside. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of had my moment with him. You know what I mean? And then
Yep.
I grabbed my school bag and I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this. That's a wrap. And bad thing is we working at the same place, but I go to work the last day. I was actually moving. Oshna is one shell square, not one shell square, but the Galleria, and we was moving, and I'm trying to finish my day, and he pops up at work and had a few words, and I wound up getting paid, man, and got my last $50. I went to the Greyhound bus station. You know, I wasn't a big, man, 'cause I didn't go to church. I didn't know who Jesus was. I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know. Of course, we all growing up knowing, oh God, oh please God, make air waves with God. If I make this shot, I won't do it again, God. You know what I mean? That's what I did
Yeah.
growing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm like at a point where I'm saying, I'm like, I don't know. It's like, all right, well, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do, where I'm gonna go, but I ain't doing it here no more. You know what I'm saying? I said I'm not doing it here no more. And being homeless, a lot of homeless people would talk, and they were like, there's a lot of construction be going on in Pensacola, Florida, around the Florida area. And I'm like,
Oh.
okay. I said, okay, cool deal. I said, we're gonna go to Florida. Let's do it.
Oh,
Let's go to
wow.
the Sunshine State. I said, if I'm gonna go be homeless, let's go do it somewhere else. At least it's got the sun and you
Yeah.
can have fun and swim or whatever, right? So one way ticket, dude, Pensacola, Florida. Boom, $38. Got my green school bag, ready for the bus. Get on the bus, where I go, straight to the back.
Oh,
Straight to the back.
Jesus.
Right? Straight to the back. Just sitting on the bus. Hey, how you doing? I'm a talking and a meet. I've always been a talkative person. Strike a conversation with the fella next to me. He's like, yeah, I'm going to Pensacola too, man. Yeah, when we get off, my wife will pick you up. We'll drop you off somewhere. I'm like, cool. This is sounding promising. Heck yeah. I'm like, all right. Well, the bus does 3 stops. It does one in Mississippi, and it does one in Mobile, Alabama, and it does one in Pensacola, Florida. But when I get to Mobile, Alabama, again, another number that's etched in my head would be my brother. So when I got here, I got on the payphone. I called my brother, and he's like, "Hey, little bro, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Man, I don't know what I'm doing." He's like, "Well, get off the bus, stay here." I'm like, "I ain't staying here. I'm starting a new life." What I mean? I'm going to Pensacola. So I get back on the bus, continue on. So I get off, and this guy's wife picks us up, man, and it's like, I'm gonna bring you to a hotel room. You can hang out tonight, because this is what I knew. This is what I knew. I knew if I could wake up that I could get to that phone book, I can get to a Salvation Army, and I could find work, and I could find food. You know what I mean? That's
Yep.
what
Yeah.
I knew. That's what I knew. So I'm like,
Yep.
all right. I said, all I need is a place for the night. So this dude's wife picks us up. We pull up to this hotel. We go in this hotel room, and again, man, I've been to some raves. I did some things, right? But I ain't did everything.
Uh-oh.
Go in this room and look around. There's like a wall full of chairs, and there's like people lined up. Look like a waiting room. You know what I mean? I'm like, huh. And there's like a stench in the room. I'm like, I don't think this is good. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
I don't know. I
dude.
kind of sit there a minute, and the fella tells me, yeah, not good. I sit there a minute, and the fella tells me, hey, go to the front desk, pay him $25. You can sleep. You can stay the night. I don't know what made me think I'm gonna go pay the front desk $25 anyway. I get out the room and they slam the door shut. I turn around, I try to open the door. They don't. The school bag comes flying out. they don't take nothing because I only got nothing but a pair of clippers and like 2 pairs of underwears and 1 sock. You know what I'm saying? So they don't take much. And I grabbed my school bag. It was like 10 p.m. at night, 11 p.m. I grabbed my school bag and put it on my shoulders. I'm going down the street. I'm walking down the street, and there's this guy on his bicycle. And you hear this got this bell. It's like, ching, ching. It's like, hey, man, come here. And I look back. I'm like, man, I start running. I'm running. At the end of the street, this car stops, and this door opens up. And I just jump in this guy's car. Like, I don't even know who this dude is. I just jump in this dude's car. I
Oh
jump
my
in. I'm like, well,
gosh.
he's like, what's going on? I said, man, go. I said, that man's trying to chase me. I probably had like 30, 40 bucks left in my pocket. You know what I mean? I just know to go. I knew to not stay. I jump in this dude's car. Well, he's going to the shipyard. So he's up early that morning. He's like going to work early that morning. He's like, well, I'm going to drop you off on Pensacola Boulevard. I said, cool, man. He dropped me off. I wound up getting a motel for the night. I took a shower. I think I remembered eating pizza. Anyways, I took a shower, kind of chilled out, went to bed. I woke up. And when I woke up, I looked up the Salvation Army. It was like 15 blocks this way. Took off on my feet, walked there. And when I went to Salvation Army in Pensacola, it's quiet. It was like a little house in the woods. And I'm like looking, and there's like one dude
Oh,
outside smoking a Newport. I'm like, what? Yeah, let's go. Because I was smoking cigarettes back then. I was like, let me get a smoke from you. You know, and I'm out there smoking a cigarette with him. And I go in and I sign in. And there's like 4, 5, 6 people in
And it's
there.
always Newports, isn't it?
It is.
It's
Yeah.
like a thing. It's a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. What's the
I
cigarette you would
wouldn't
like
know.
when you weren't
Now I
doing
It's
know.
a
right?
thing, dude. Newports.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. But it was either that or roll ups. I mean, we go around. I mean, I learned to do
Yeah.
wet downs. You take a bunch of cigarettes, break them down. roll
Oh
you one.
really? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. 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 So,
So what happened after you at that Salvation Army? Is that where you kind of got some work
so
and
I walk in, I sign in, and I'm there for about an hour or two, man. And it might have been breakfast, and I ate breakfast, and they called me in the back room, and there's a guy counseling. He's like, I see you signed up. What's going on? Talk to me. I'm like, look, I don't know what's going on. I said, I'm from Louisiana. I was homeless. No, I don't really know what to say right now. You know, he says, hold on a second. And he calls this guy, Chris, into this room. And he says, Chris, he was there doing community service. He was working there. And he said, Chris, I want you to put this guy in your car, and I want you to drive him to Mobile. Because I had told him my brother, I'm getting ahead of myself, sorry. I told him I should have got off in Mobile. I said, look, if I can get back to Mobile, I said, I might have a chance, And they had a guy there, and he called him in the room. And he said, look, put this guy in your truck and drive him to Mobile. So we get in his truck, and we go across the Bayway. I remember having a conversation with him. And drops me off right down DIP. And I call my brother. They come pick me up and start. It kind of begins right there. But I need to add this before I go any further. When I got that bus ticket at the Greyhound that day in Louisiana, like I said, I wasn't no religious guy. I didn't know who Christ was, but I asked God that day before I left. I said, Lord, I said, I don't know where I'm going. I said, but if you can just look out for me, I like a place, I like a job, but if I can be a good girl, you know what I mean? And I let that prayer be spoken before I took this journey, you know what I mean? And I always got to, I should have added that in the beginning part, but as I maybe go through the journey, it reminds me to how he was there already the whole time.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Right.
so there's that added into that. But so I'm at my brother's at this point, man, and my brother was a meat cleaver. He was a butcher at
Butcher.
Greer's. Yes. So he puts me with a job automatically. I start working with him, and I'm butchering for about a couple 2-3 days, cutting meat, and then first weekend comes around, man. My nephews had 2 nephews, and they play baseball. First weekend comes around, I meet my wife, so she comes into my life. I met her at a ballpark, and that was
Wow.
kind of God given that day. The
Wow.
way it goes down, the way it went down, you know. So that that kind of just kind of goes fast, you know. So I got a place, gave me a job, I meet a
Yeah,
girl,
yeah.
you know. Unfortunately, my brother has some issues going on, you know. He's no longer with us no more. He had an addiction that, you know, I believe in his heart that he wanted to beat, but he just wasn't able to on this earth where he's at now.
Wow,
It's done. He's beat that
wow,
right now. But
wow.
you know, he didn't get he got it. He got chance. He just didn't get there, man. So
Yeah,
needless to
yeah.
say, it didn't take too long for me to jump back on the train, man. I went right to the pill guy. I got back. I got a job. I got some money in my pocket. Of course,
Yeah,
I ain't homeless, and there I am. I'm falling right back into it.
yep.
You know what I mean? So like, it never really left me during the homeless times. You know, if I can get loaded, if I could, it could. If I couldn't, I could. You know what I mean? So
Yep,
like,
yep, yep.
it never left me. So then he got that going on. So I'm back into that in my life, man, and just slowly, you know, slowly start tumbling back. You know, my brother splits, Katrina hits, he dies. You know, I wound up having a kid for the first time. Um, you know, we're split up, so I mean, it's a lot going on. So Katrina, I go back home. I live with my mom. I go down there, get arrested for cocaine, and you know, I'm sitting in jail for 6 months. Come back out here, come back home, try to
Were you
start
clean
right
in
with
jail?
her. Yeah, had to be.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
In jail, you have to
yeah,
be.
I knew
Yeah.
people who
yeah.
weren't.
Even the first time, I mean, well, I mean, if you see stuff now, I mean, they see like all kind of stuff.
Yeah,
It's crazy. But I mean, I was in Paris, but then I was in New Orleans. The second time I was in NOLA. I was in a project, dude. I come out with the stuff in my hand. I didn't even get to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I didn't even
yeah,
get to do it. I got in the truck and it's just all these lights turn on. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? I was cooked, dude. But
yeah,
that needed to happen. That
yeah,
needed to happen.
yeah,
yeah.
Did it fix me? No, but that needed to happen.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Every
saying?
stage
So
matters, right?
yes, every stage does matter. It does matter. So, you know, I come back out here and I started to start my life back with my wife now, but back then it's still girlfriend, still
Yeah,
breaking up off and on. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And start back and start doing electrical, and then we have another baby, man, and you know, life's going, but I'm still messing around. Like I'm still eating pills on the weekend. Like I'm still doing things that I shouldn't be doing. You know, I ain't I ain't who I used to be, but I ain't who I'm supposed to be. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Beautiful way to
so
put
I'm
that. But it's in the back of your
exactly.
head
So
all the time. You may not be
all
doing
the
it, but you're planning for the
exactly.
time you're gonna do it.
Exactly. Well, I just
Yes.
I swapped up, you know, because my
Yep.
dad used needles, I did pills. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yep.
like I would never do that. You know what I mean? That type stuff. So you know, I'm going through it, man. I'm at home. I'm stealing my kids' medicine. Their ADHD medicine.
Oh,
I'm
jeez.
stealing this medicine from them. I'm breaking it open, putting aspirin in it, dude. Putting it back up. They going to school, getting in trouble, man. Coming home and
Because they're
we're
not getting their
whipping them kids.
medicine.
Ow. Let me tell you something. Makes you feel like this, right? Like this, right?
Yeah.
You think
Yeah.
what I would go through it would feel like
Yeah.
this, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Here's the turning point. You ready? Out of all the
Yeah.
stuff I named, and that's just a little bit. I can name a lot of places. I mean, I've been to jail a few times, but ain't never none of them things. It's on vacation when I told that girl I'll go upstairs and make a sandwich. And when I went on that elevator, walked in that room and reached in that pill drawer, and that door opened up, and she looked at me, and I looked at her, and her eyes looked at me. I never felt the same ever in my life. That day killed everything in me. Everything. Like it just left. It was
Wow.
gone. Granted, the way it went down wasn't good. We fought. She seen me, and you know what I mean. And it wasn't the rest of the vacation wasn't good. We had like 3 days left. It was quiet. I come back home, and of course, me still being hard headed. We fought. I split. I've gone 2016, and I know that yet. So I split, man. So you
Wow.
know, and I've split multiple times, and this time I split, and
Did you at that time? You're saying that that moment she looked at you, it hit you.
yeah,
Of course,
yeah,
you're stubborn and you're going to fight it and you're going to resist
right,
it and you're going to say
right,
fuck that, blah blah blah. But
right.
you felt something, like you felt something, like, bam. Did you feel that moment, or you just when you look
I
back at it,
did.
you realize,
I felt it at that moment. I
yeah,
felt it because
you
I
fought
felt
it,
the
but you
room.
felt it.
I did because, like I said, it might have even been. I can't even tell you if I was had it's something in me at that moment. But at that moment, when she seen me and I seen her,
Yeah,
and I went this small, and that room just kind of sucked me in, man. It was just like,
yeah,
wow, you know, like all the stealing, I mean, all the lying, all the
Yeah.
I mean, everything in the book, man, things I'm not proud of to do
Yeah.
things. I mean, there's things that I always wonder, like when people ask you, what's the point? What's the turning point? When
Yeah.
is it? It ain't going to jail. It ain't, you know, some
Yeah.
people do straighten up,
Yeah.
but it's these
Yeah.
moments, right? And
Yeah.
it's these moments. So I have this happen, and of course it hits me. Like you say though, I'm still in my ways, so I don't
Yeah.
accept it fully. I come home, we
Yeah.
fight more, and then I split.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you
Wow.
know, so I split, and then instead of me going to do knucklehead stuff, I actually do right, man. I go get the hotel room by the week. I'm always giving her money every week. If child support say I would do 180, I'd give her 300. My kids are gonna get money no matter what. I don't care if I
Mhm.
gotta eat McDonald's money. You're gonna get what you always got from my babies. You
Good.
ain't never going. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. I'm take care of my kids. If I left, it'll be the same. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Even if I know it's my fault. So anywho, so
That's
I go
beautiful.
do right, man, and well, you got to. You know what I'm saying?
It's beautiful.
And I was paying for a room a week. Do you know what a room a week is?
Yeah.
It was three
Ugh.
something
Yep.
already.
Yep. That's a
Mhm.
lot.
I mean, and, so I mean, so anywho's I do that for a little bit, man, and I wind up getting a trailer. And when I get a trailer, I want my nephew. My nephew winds up ODing on fentanyl, and he calls me
Oh.
and he asks me for a new life. I'm like, bro, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, but come on and join me. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah. Maybe we
like,
can figure it out together.
let's do it. You know what I'm saying? I said, let's see what he's got for us. You know what I mean? But I'm an electrician. I've been having a job. I've been holding one down, you know, through my
That's
knucklehead
legit
stuff.
work too.
Yeah, legit. You know what I
Yep.
mean? My boss has been with me through
Mhm.
some thick and through some thin. I've did some
Wow.
knucklehead stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Good
So
boss
he
then.
gets here, he gets a job with me. So he's working with me. I get a trailer, start going to church, man. I start seeking. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
like I
Uh-huh.
said, I had this. So something hits. So I start seeking, and I mean seeking because I'm like, all right, I want to know. I want to
Something
feel it.
out there. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want some. I want to see. You know, I want to
Yeah.
feel happiness. And
Yep.
so I had a buddy of mine that I hung around with, and I watched a Teen Challenge video, and I watched the way the Lord changed his life, man, and it always sat with me. And I sent him a message one day, and he says, Todd, I can't tell you when, but I always want to. And I'm like, 10-4, even through my bad days. You know what I mean? Because like I said,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
even be bad, you don't want to be like that no more. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
seeking, man. I'm seeking, and I'm going to like the Baptist churches. I'm going to Catholic churches. You know, I'm just sitting in. My nephew would come with me sometimes, and feeling it,
Yep.
taking it in.
Yep.
And then I have a couple of experiences, and this is I think where it gets good because you know a lot of people just go to church their whole life. You know, like we said earlier before this, you know, having the things happen, you know,
Yeah.
versus you just being there. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like again, I go fishing every day almost, but I didn't do it like this now. So like
Yep.
back then, I fish sometimes. You know, we got a pier out here. And I go to Cedar Point Pier, and I'm out there. There's like two dudes out there. I'm out there just throwing my little fishing pole, and this man comes out of nowhere. He starts telling me about my girlfriend and the problems I'm having, and I'm just sitting there taking it all in. And you know, I'm
Does he
kind
know
of
you?
no, he don't know me. He doesn't know me. He
But is
knows
he
me and all.
telling
He
you
goes,
accurate stuff about your
he's
girlfriend?
pretty much on key, man. He's pretty much
Okay.
on key to where I'm like, I'm
Who the
listening.
F are
Like I'm
you? What the
listening.
fuck's going on?
Right. Like you showing me. I
Yeah.
asked. Now you're telling
Start.
me. Now you're showing me.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I get chills while I say
Yeah.
this. So and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
I I, I have that set in, and I'm at Goodwill about a couple of days later, and I'm at Goodwill looking at these shirts, man. And the shirt I got it inside. It says Spirit, but it looks like a Sprite can, but it says Spirit. It says Obey His word. I
Ooh.
got this shirt. I'm looking at it. This guy comes out of nowhere and he puts his arm around me and says, hey man, listen, God wants you to know that he sees you. He just says, be real with him. He knows you're sitting up, you know you're still smoking, you're reading the Bible, whatever, you know, watching, you know, dirt. Be you. You seek and be you. I looked at him, dude, my eyes got this big. I said, what? How about dry? I'm like going up, down the aisles like this. I'm like, who? What? I said, you gotta be. I'm having an experience, right? That
Yeah.
was an experience right there because at that time, only God would know what was going on in my life. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So me
Right.
seeking and him showing me,
Yeah.
okay? So I have all that hit, man. So anyway, point being, bro, I
Oh
wound up doing
shit.
great, man. I wound up doing great. I want to. I wound up seeking. I wound up, me and her kind of started messaging each other during that time. I was away from here for a year, but the reason I got away for a year is because God had plans for me.
Sure.
I wouldn't have found that here. I
Right.
had to. I don't know how to say that. So we start talking again, and I start bringing them to it. Well, they was going to this. It was a Methodist church. It doesn't matter. I go get fed wherever. Just don't show up with
Yeah.
snakes and start
Amen.
freaking me out, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yeah.
that part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I start going to this church with her, and they started going on their own, and like all of a sudden you start see this happen, and I'm like, all right, this is cool. This is awesome. Well, I moved back home. Moved back
Wow.
home. Then I asked her to marry me. 24
Uh,
years. After
Wow.
24 years, right?
Wow.
Ask her to marry me. I get married. And in the meantime, man, me and my kids start fishing. We start having a little fishing group, and gives us a fishing group on the phone. And it's really brings me to today, but
So,
that's really it in a nutshell, man.
so the
I don't really know
fishing,
how
how
to
did
say
that?
the rest
Because
of it.
isn't that a big part of your life now? Are you like, I don't
It's a
know.
big part. It's a
It's
big part. It's a big part.
yeah,
It was the park. It's how I met Steven. It's how
yeah,
I'm on the phone with you right now.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Think
yeah.
about that. I mean,
You have
wow.
uh, the
Facebook
truth
group on it, or fan, or
is,
Instagram, or whatever, right?
uh, yeah, we try to put it everywhere. So like in the beginning, like me and the kids, we were fishing, and that's just Lake Optimist where what happened was Joey. So when Joey come down with me, I wound up coming back home, and Joey wound up moving back to Georgia. So he goes back to Georgia. He leaves his tackle bag here, and it's got these lures in it. And I start telling the kids, I said, man, I said, look, let's open this bag up and see what these are. Because like, man, we saltwater dudes down here. We put some shrimp on, put a little
Yeah.
spark plug, and that's how I grew up. My mama showed me, that's how we grew up fishing. And so we got these lures, and we start throwing these lures, and we start catching bass, man. And next thing you know, it just kind of takes off. Me and the kids start a little YouTube channel. We all like,
Yeah.
hey, got 5 GoPros around us. We all out there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and it was great. I had the kids. They would wake up with me at the butt crack of dawn.
Yeah.
She'd be in the bed, mumbling words. What are you doing?
What are
You
you
know what I'm
doing?
saying?
Yeah.
And like, right. I mean, this was the life that I'm living now. I then come back home, and I'm married, and I got this going, and the kids are doing this, and of course, my 2 boys right now, they're 19 and 16. Then when we started that, one was probably 8 and 12. So it was a great time for them to start and be.
Yeah.
They were waking up early, and so we start doing that, man, and we do that for about 2 or 3 years. We fishing, and then her sister Jamie made this sticker for me one day, man. Rest her soul, brother. She and it said Bank Boys. It just said Bank Boys on it,
Hmm.
and I'm like, that's what's up, and I appreciate that, and stuck it on the back of the truck, man, and I'm like, man, we got to do something different. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
something different. I said, so we added it to the kids. I said, we're the bank. I said, she told us we're the Bank Boys. I said, that's pretty cool. I said,
That's
we put a
cool. I like that.
hashtag. Yeah, we put a hashtag in front of it. It was like a little picture of us like fishing off the rock somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Daddy's
Yeah.
sons. You know what I mean?
The
It
bank,
was
Yeah.
cool.
the
So,
bank of the river,
right,
baby.
right. And so we kind of started going with it, and it just said Bank Boys. And then one day I got a text message from a fella, and he had some other group in Texas, and he asked us to change his name. And by then I done copyrighted and patented the name. I already
Oh
learned
wow.
that it was Bank Boys, but I added Fish and Ink on the back. Like if you type in Bank Boys, if you typed in just that words like rap groups, a couple other things come up. So I put a
Oh
hashtag in front of it and put Fish and Ink behind it.
Yeah.
I mean, ain't
wow.
nobody in the world got that. And this guy was
That's
messaging me
cool.
telling me I had to change it. Yeah, right,
That's
right, and
cool.
right.
You've been
I thought it
guided
was
all
cool.
along, huh?
Right, yeah, right.
Yeah. Wow.
But I mean, it didn't even get big though. It was just something me and the kids were doing. And then one day at the waterfall, uh, I had got off the phone for years. I mean, during my doo-doo head days, I couldn't be on no Facebook. It was just me and her. It just phone didn't work for me back then.
Yeah.
I've been away for years, and I said, you know what? I said it's time to come back. I said it's time to come back to the phone. So like in
Yeah.
2018,
Yeah.
I started go to my profile on Facebook and started like putting a few pictures of me and the kids. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like,
Yeah.
hey, where I've been for 15 years, 10, 15 years, you know what I mean? This is what we're doing now, let's
Yeah.
go,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I go back in my memories if it showed me, back in 18, and it's like, hey, that's cool, man. That's awesome. And then, so yeah, I wound up meeting a fella, and he said, you ought to try to do it on the phone. You ought to try to open a group, do a group, Todd. And We did one. So shout out to Casey B, man. Casey Bryant put that in the works, man. So God put him at the waterfall that day at Municipal Park.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest is in the wrap, man. We just hit 6 years, over 5,000 members. We had some tournaments. We've helped people.
Wow.
We do like little Chris. Oh, dude, it's awesome. It's
5,000?
awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's so awesome, man. And like you said earlier, it's not about the number because it's just about that person. You know what I mean? And and in the beginning, I believe we wanted to be YouTube stars, and I couldn't care less about anything like that. And I've learned what the purpose is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What I like, a couple things, and if you see me looking down, I'm writing stuff at my job.
Dave was a teacher his whole life, so he still has to take notes. And at the end, there'll be the lessons learned from your story, and he'll summarize it because
I live
that's
that
what Dave
world
does.
now. What I love is like, I mean, your first part of the story is not that I love that first part, but it is part of your life. That's what that sets you up for where you are. Sometimes we're like, God, why am I going through this? Well, I'm setting you up for something. You know, it's like if you were to go if you were to stop at Mobile before going to Pensacola, you would not have been the same. It wouldn't have happened. You wound
Every
up
step mattered.
and the right moment, that kid, whoever that was, brought you back so that 3 days later you met your wife. Soon, one day to be your wife. It's a whole, and you started not seeking, but you started listening and seeing and going like, wow, there's something else. And then you started seeing people, boom, boom, boom. And then everything, like we've talked about it before in some other episodes, like all of a sudden you're like, oh, I never saw that before. And it's like, okay, I'm being told this. There's something weird, that gut feeling, that heart, that, but you're starting to get people telling you, and you're starting to see things, and I love it. And
I
the
feel
best
like
thing was like, be real. When that person said, be real with God.
Be real.
Guess what? We all try to fake. I know, born and raised Baptist, man. People try to be like, well, I'm just a perfect person. Well, no, you're not. So shut up. Be real. And not only be real with God, but be real with everybody. Because guess what? If I'm not real with you, or you're not real with me, I can't help you with what you're going through. You can't help me with what I'm going through.
Right.
I don't got a drug problem. Well, yeah, you do, but you got to admit it first. So I love that part about being real and just seeking, just listening. So
the other interesting thing, because there's so many layers to that story, right? But it feels like, in that when your wife, what's her name?
Hold on, that's what I was about to say. If you gave me a minute, I'm about to tell you her name, and
let's go.
That's gonna set it off to a whole nother level.
Okay.
You ready?
Let's go.
All right, you ready? Okay. All right, you ready? Her name's Christina. Her name's Christina Calloway. I'm gonna break it down for you.
Christine Calloway.
Christ in a call away.
Wait, Christine?
Christ in a call away. Holy shit, I'm getting shivers.
That's it, bro. That's how I know he's real. That's how I know God did it. Even when I was a knucklehead and a doo-doo head. That's how I would say, people, you don't have to be perfect. He was there the whole time, and that's why I am now. I got a thing with God. If he wakes me up, he keeps waking me up, I'm going to keep praising him. I'm going to keep telling people about him because I know what he can do, man.
Ooh.
I know what he can do. I know what he can do.
Wow.
I know what he can do. I know what he can do. But that's her name.
That hits me in the heart hard. That makes me want to cry. Ugh.
Christina Calloway.
And to think I tried to leave,
shit.
right. I asked for it and I got it and I tried to leave it, and it's like, you know what, man? You know what? You need to accept it. Accept what God gives you. You know what I'm saying? Accept that person. Accept that life. Stop trying to run away and do other stuff. Grow up, be a man.
Yeah. Many times we're fighting things that are happening in our life. We're like, I don't want that. It's like, well, no, let it happen. And like you, one moment you said, God, just give me shelter, give me something, help me.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we'll get you there. But it wasn't until a little bit down the road, like you'll be fine. But you just got to be open. And one of my things is listen. Just listen and see what's going on. Going like, okay, And now you got this Christina Calloway. Which is, that's so awesome, man.
Wow.
And kudos to her. I mean, he obviously was, God had her in her way.
So cool. That is so amazing.
Around for you.
That is awesome.
So what I was going to say.
Well, I gotta let that
Christina,
know. I mean, she's been the one. Like I said. Imagine, that's a lot to put up with. Like I just said, 24 years worth, and I mean, in 2018 I come back. So I mean, I got a good almost have a good 10 years in me of being who I should be, or working my way who he wants me to be. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, but I can't imagine that. But I mean, shout out to her because I mean, there's been endless nights. Me being mean, and I can't
Yeah.
imagine. So like,
Yeah.
you know,
So
she's a
what I was gonna say was Christina, Christ in a call away. That just blows my mind, man. That is, that makes me emotional. So, whew, that is awesome. In that moment when you were digging through the stuff and she looked at you, right?
right,
That I'm all into energy, right? That there's a transmission of love because she loved you unconditionally, and
right,
there's a divine aspect, there's a
right.
God aspect to that kind of love
Right.
because Christ loves you no matter what, and that
So does
there's
Christ in the call away, right?
yeah, and so there's this moment where she's looking at you, probably some judgment, like "What the fuck are you doing?" A little, but you
Oh,
also
super.
felt in that gaze this kind of love that transcends and can heal everything. They always say love heals, perfect love casts out all fear, perfect love heals all things, right? That you felt that in that moment, and it's like a penetration into almost hits you in the soul level, right?
Right.
And again, you fought it, you know what I mean? But it's almost like a seed gets planted in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that mustard seed.
Yeah.
It's like, bam, there's
Yeah.
something that ignites in you from her through this Christ in a cult, this love that hits you on a level. And it took a little to germinate it, to plant and all that kind of stuff. But that's what it feels like that moment was, you know. In the East, they would call it like a transmission. Like it's
Right.
almost like an energetic, like a boom. And you're just like, whoa, right? And again, you fought it, which we all do. But then eventually it took root and boom, and it
But I
blossomed.
felt it. But I
Yeah,
felt
that's
it.
the
I
thing.
never felt it
Yeah,
before. Think of, I
yeah.
mean, 24 years of dealing with Todd Tait, like being, boo, boo, boo. I mean,
Yep,
there was a lot of, I just look right through you. You can
yep,
catch me with my hand in a pickle jar and you couldn't tell me nothing. I mean,
yep,
that type.
yep.
And
But for some
and
reason,
That
that
moment.
moment, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
that
Have you
was
ever done the
as
12 steps?
No,
No. So in the 12,
no.
and I never really did
I've sat
either.
in them, though. We would go to the meetings
Yeah,
and I would sit in them, though.
I never have either, honestly. But
I did NAA, not
yeah, I
AA.
did a little of, I'd go to a meeting every now and then and just sort of listen and stuff like that. But, they have these steps. And one of them is, though, that I always found, there's a surrender, that you messed up and you're releasing to some higher power, right? And then there's also this one where I think it's the ninth, I don't know it that well, but I think it's like the ninth or 10th step where it says that you have a sincere, personally transformative experience, and then you start mentoring other people or helping other people. In other words, until you've really had that transformational experience deep within your soul, then you really aren't ready to actually do anything, right? Because
Right,
sometimes people just leave because, they think and that happens in churches a lot of times, right? Where people are,
right,
you
right,
know, playing
right,
this weird game
right,
still in their head, and they're still, not quite,
right.
you know, authentic, if you will, right? And they haven't really, and yet they're saying stuff because whatever. But when you have that transformational, deeply, profoundly transformational experience, then to me, it's almost like it doesn't matter what you do because you as a person have changed, right? And everything you do then becomes this flow of this Christed energy, right? So you can sit there and you can fish and touch people's lives, right? You could work on cars and trucks and touch people's lives. It doesn't, right? Whatever that vocation is, whatever that thing is you're doing, is just almost like an avenue for you
That's right.
to
That's
be
right.
a
and that
messenger. And it's not by you necessarily saying anything, it's by who you
No,
are. Your presence can
and I
alter
think
other people, right? And touch them. And they might say, hey, what are you,
right,
hey, tell me about it. What? And next thing
right.
you know, pathways are
But
opened
choosing
up.
to, you gotta choose to too. So you
Yep,
get that choice. Like
yep,
you get that choice, and I don't want to miss out. I said yes to this because, like I said, I don't want to
yeah,
miss out anything that I could share that could even help anybody, man.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
like,
I think what I was when you were talking about the story, that moment, when she came in the room and you just looked at her, I was like going like, yeah, you let the kids down because you were stealing their pills, but that wasn't really a one-on-one at that point, even though they're your kids. But when it was like you were like the invincible. Oh, people don't know. They don't care. I don't care about them. I do what I want to do. But then she basically caught you. and you're like, shit, I'm done. I got caught. And that person, the one you really love, which, at that point I know you did anyway, you are like, I just let her down. And that's the one thing, like Sheldon was telling me, that's where God was kind of like going like, okay, you want to go down this road? I'm gonna get you hurt, but I'm gonna get you back. We're gonna hurt you. I mean, been there, done that, and so it's like it just kind
Man.
of it's. I just think your story is so cool in its way because you're telling people like it's okay wherever you are. Just listen to what's going on. Eventually, get to the point where like, if you start feeling like, God, I just want to seek something, well, seek it. Like you, I love how you went Catholic, Baptist, Methodist. You went everywhere. It's like I don't. If you're preaching the word to me, just preach the
Just
word.
going.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
don't
Right.
make me do things. Just tell me what God's trying
Right.
to talk to me.
Right.
And I love that
Right.
you listened. And some of it takes longer. For me, it took a long time. But you listen, and I like that.
Amen.
Listen.
We're all in this, probably all in this call right here. What I like to call slow learners.
Yeah, so,
It took a minute, man. It took a minute. Okay, gotta keep
Most
popping
people
you on
from
the head.
Louisiana are slow.
Huh?
and I'll tell you, Todd. I never wanted to be a teacher. That was my entire career. I've been doing it 35 years now. I never swam a day in my life. Became a swim coach and 3-time coach of the year.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
never. I don't read well because I'm not a good reader, and now I'm the full-time librarian at the school I used to teach at. Um, and so all of this is like, really, God? I'm like, oh, my bad. I guess you did have a plan. So same with you. It's like we just have to go. Okay, I'll let it happen because sometimes we don't want it to happen. Like you were fighting it, but I would love to be able. Not even it's your story, but I'd love to go back to that guy at that Salvation Army in Florida that said no.
Yeah.
You're going
Yeah.
back. You're going back to Alabama. I mean, going back to Mobile. Yeah, go back to Mobile. And to
Wow.
him to see that and to say, no, I'll give you a job here. Like, too bad you didn't stay there, but no, you don't need to be here. You need to be. God put that guy in the right place at the right time.
Right time. He wrote 8 hours. I'll never forget because he said, "Go write down 8 hours." He gave him his community service, and look, this is no lie.
Wow.
I'm gonna say it's not about where I'm gonna say where you're at. It's just about knowing that there's always a way, man,
Yeah.
Hmm.
whether you want to call it higher power or call it something else. I know what it is, and I know what it did for me. And
Yeah.
my job, I believe now, is to tell people, if they ask, I don't like to pull up on people, but like Sheldon said, the opportunity permits itself, and
Yeah.
it's your choice. And when God gives us that choice, I like to do that because I say, Lord, you keep waking me up, I'm gonna keep praising you. I'll keep doing what you want me to do.
Yeah.
God is
Beautiful.
God.
Yeah.
I have had
That's
that
what I want.
where if you want me to say something, open the door.
Yeah.
Right?
Hmm.
Create an
Right,
opportunity because I'm not going to go out there and just like,
right,
I'm not, this is just not me. But if you want me to, then open the door for me and then it'll open. It'll always
Yeah.
happen, right? Somebody will
Yeah.
ask you a question. Hey, what about blah, blah, blah? Have you ever, some kind of thing
yeah,
happens
yeah.
that creates that openness where you can have a conversation that goes
The
to the
person
next
has to
level.
be at that spot. You
Yeah.
can't
That's
sit there
right.
and force it on somebody because they're gonna be
Nope.
like,
That's
no,
right.
no, I don't want that. But
Yep.
but if you say it one time and say, no, I don't want that. Okay, go.
Yep.
That's that
Yep.
seed that was just thrown in.
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
Someone else may say something later. They were like, he'll be like, oh, wait a minute. I need to hear that. Like, yep, because that seed was planted somewhere else. So every time we say something, do something, and I'll tell you, Todd, you just want people to hear. You don't want to force it. When Sheldon and I started this thing, Sheldon goes, yeah, how many people in here? I go, hey, if we get one person that hears this message
I told him.
and
That's right.
change,
I said,
That's
you
right.
know,
I
yeah.
said, my
So
ego brain always gets, I want to touch thousands of people or whatever. Dave's just like, hey, remember remember one. And I'm like, all right, you're right, you're right, you're
That's
right, you're
it.
right.
with
Just
this
one.
story,
Just
which
one.
I know a lot of
But
people have been through, this one story gets to one person.
All right,
Guess what?
you're
that's
right.
it. That's it. That's it. Because that one person can go to the other person and the other
Yeah,
person. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And
Yep.
it's a good thing, man. Probably the best thing that ever happened in my life was get busted by her, and now looking at it and especially
Hmm.
speaking over it, looking back, man. You know, there's opportunities for anybody,
yeah,
and pay attention because if you want a way out, if you're praying to God to get a way out, because there's 100 million people with that same thing going on,
yeah,
and they're trapped, man. Like I said, my brother wasn't able to get out. God
yeah,
gave me a way out, and pay attention.
yeah,
Thank
Hmm.
God, him.
yep.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. I mean,
Yeah,
I hope a lot of people listen to this because I think they'll get a lot out of it just listening to. I mean, you can be in a bad spot, but if you just listen and seek and
and
try, you have a way out. So there is a way, you know.
and
So
so you found the
There is a
happiness,
way.
right?
There is a way.
You found
yeah,
the
I found the
happiness.
happiness. I wake up smiling. I wake up
R-
smiling instead of mad now. You
Right.
know.
Right.
good.
Yep.
Yep.
That's
It
what it
takes
is,
time.
man. And
Takes time.
that's takes time. It's I guess it's wisdom. You
Yep.
know.
Yeah.
And then it's not our timing; it's His timing. I'm a big God man. You know. That's what
Yep.
I do now. That's how I know who wakes me up, and
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
Yep.
until He calls me home. I know who
Yep.
Jesus is now. I know the story, and it gets grows on me more and more stronger every day, and you know, God can use me as a vessel through a rod and reel and put me somewhere around here the greatest people because if I didn't have them people around me, I wouldn't be able to do half the stuff that we're able to do, man. You know,
Yeah.
it's a great
Amen.
thing. I'm so grateful, very grateful.
Wow.
So you find yourself like in it's almost like a permanent state of service in whatever way. Like you're always open. You're always open to be of service if you can or whatever, right?
Yes, yes, yes. If TJ messaged me and his mama lost his house, then you know what, man, I'm gonna pray and God will make a way, and that's
Yep.
what's gonna happen, and that's
Yep.
that's how it goes, and
Yeah.
I'm big on that God did it because
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what happens if you go in with the honest heart. You know what I mean? Look, I live a lot of my life the wrong way, so to live it the right way, and then to see to reap the reward and see what He gives from being right, you know,
Yep.
and being obedient
Yeah.
and all. And I don't mean like say the right, be straight. I don't
Yeah.
mean like that. I just mean like, you know, first knowing and accepting, and then, you know, loving people goes a long ways. And I know it's hard. And I
Right.
know
It's
that's
so
one of the
simple.
hardest for everybody. Right, right. But just
Right.
loving people or forgiving people. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like that's hard. I mean, I got people that message me and ask for this, ask for that. You know, it's hard. If they pay me, they don't, and they can't. And it's like, man, you know, I just learned wherever He wants me, that's where I'll be. You know,
It's
yeah,
beautiful, dude. It's
Sometimes you don't know
beautiful.
yeah,
why you're there. It's like there's a reason. So in my world now, it's
yeah.
always okay. This is happening for a reason. Like when I went back as a
It
long
does.
librarian, I was like, what is this? Is stupid. I'm not a librarian. And now I've been doing it for 6 years, I think, Sheldon. I don't know,
Yeah.
5, 6 years. And I'm telling you, I'm a big part of that school again. It's like
Yeah.
they needed me there. Hey, not an ego thing, but they needed me there to do something to help make this stay the way it is. And so it's
Right.
like, and kids, I've touched so many kids' lives as a librarian. I'm like, as a what? You know, I mean, Sheldon
So
knows. I mean, you tell anybody in my life, David's a librarian. I'm like, that's great.
every career he had no intention of having.
Right.
And the ones
Yeah.
that I did have intentions didn't last long.
Yeah.
So
The
it's
thing
like,
he thought he was supposed to do didn't work. The thing that he surrendered to and allowed
so
himself to be guided through, you know.
yeah. So I
Yes.
get right where you're coming from, Todd. And I hope
And was
people are
able
listening.
to. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like, and those have been great,
Thank you for
great
letting me
joy.
share.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah, we appreciate it. I'm gonna tell you before we even the last part of homework. I'm not sure how much more we got left, but to put it all in a nutshell, just be real. You know, it's sometimes, I mean, you go down a wrong road, you go down a wrong road. It's okay. Be real with God and with everyone. Don't just, you know,
Right.
because
Yeah.
God knows who you are, so might as well be real.
He
But
does. He
know where you
sees
are.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
Listen,
does.
keep your eyes open while you're listening, and then bad things happen. Just it'll turn to good because um, uh, it there's always a way. So,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep. And
I
you know,
love
the
it.
other
God, thank
thing
you,
Amen.
man.
that's kind of fun, you know, there's always this part inside somebody that's seeking whether they know it or not.
Yep.
You know,
Very
there's always
true.
that little seed, and it doesn't
Very
mean
true.
that you need to expose yourself to people that are gonna, you know, abuse you and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Because we have to
Right.
create our own boundaries for our own life and our
Right.
own family. And sometimes you have to say, "Hey, if you're not ready, you're not ready." Doesn't mean you need to judge that person, right? Because we can still say, I wish you nothing but the best and say a prayer for that person. But you know what? I've got my family over here and you need to be over there because you're out being wild, you know? And I was wild too. So I get it. But at the same time, you need to be over here, right? I always say if that's how the prison system was, you know, I love you
Right.
completely, unconditionally. You know, you are my brother. But right now, the way you're behaving, we need to put these walls around you so you can't go do that to their society because you're screwing stuff up. And that's okay. That's okay. We're going to do this from a place of absolute love, absolute compassion. But at the same time, we have to have healthy boundaries. You know, and society needs boundaries. And that's what we're going to do. If that were the way the thing was, and we're going to still work with you, and we're going to help you, and we're going to do everything we can with you while you're there. But
Right.
for the moment, you're going to be able, you know, but it's kind of like that, right? We have to, we're doing all of those things, but we're moving through in this beautiful sort of, I don't know why I even said that, but yeah, it's what a beautiful story, man. Todd, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank y'all. I
Give
didn't
a big hug
if
for us.
if I
So
if I hit or miss on a few things, but I'm pretty sure I'll put it in the wrap. If I could
um,
just say one thing
Yeah,
about everything, like y'all was saying, he wrote down a lot of key factors, but I mean, all in all, keep going, man.
yeah,
Life gets better, and when he wakes us up, that's a good day.
yep,
Any day breathing's good, and
yep,
I believe there's the next place after this even better. And
yep, yep,
so we work for that, and continue on and continue seeking. And
yeah,
anybody who wants it can get it. It's a choice, and
yeah,
life's way better with it. I went plenty of years without it, and it's way
yep,
better with it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's way better. I like this life way better. So yeah, definitely. Anybody who ain't a follower or a believer, find
yeah,
the Lord today.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
amen. I agree with you on that one.
We're
Amen.
going to call it a wrap on that because I think that's a perfect place to end.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
again, Todd, thanks for sharing. What a beautiful message. What a powerful story. And I
Thank y'all.
know, obviously, it wasn't easy and for many years of your life, like you said, but you moved through and you're in this beautiful place where, this video and your life is touching people. And that's awesome. Again, thank you for sharing. I think, Dave,
Yeah.
we already summarized it. So
Yeah.
we're going to
So,
call that
hey,
a
we're
wrap, right?
excited where you're headed, Todd. You're making a lot of difference in this world. God's got
Yeah.
plans for you. He's already done it. So you'll be in my prayers forever because I love what
Yeah.
you're
It's
doing.
His way. Amen. Amen. It was
Love you,
awesome
brother.
meeting y'all,
Feel
man.
like a
And love
brother.
y'all, bro. Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
just so all you out there, neither Sheldon and I have met Todd till today.
Yeah.
It's
First
just-
time.
Neither of us have met
I feel
Todd.
like
so
I know
now-
y'all.
yeah,
I know.
right.
It's like, hey, man, I need to go mobile just to hang out a little bit.
Hey, come on. Hey, I'm about to get a new boat. I'm about to get
Well,
another
see, there we
boat.
go.
Trust me, if I'm out
Yeah.
that way, you and
Come on.
Steven for sure.
Come on.
All right. So,
All right, everybody, have a great week. Todd, thank you so much for being here, and everybody
Thank
out there,
y'all.
if you get a chance,
God
share
bless.
this. Like it, whatever you can do, because we know there's people out there that need to hear it. You may have a friend that needs to hear this kind of story. So we all go through different things in different ways. But Todd, as Todd said, just keep looking, keep seeking, and it's better on that
keep
side.
going.
Yeah,
Love
keep
you guys.
going. God did it. Let's go.
Yep. Amen.
Love y'all.
Amen. Guys, have a good night. Good day.